if you, with a little or extra effort, taking my course, you can very quickly sound like this. Now, this is book one of the 5-chord trick, which is my own particular system, and it's the first of a set of 3 which we'll be discussing during this film. You'll find on the first few pages advice on performance, advice on constructive practice, how your right hand plays the melody on the top manual of the organ, and how you read this from the printed music and translate it onto the upper manual of the organ. There's also the signs which help you to read the music. There's also the note values here, how we split them into bars of 3/4 or 4/4. There are also tied notes, instructions on those, rests, instructions on fingering for the right hand. Now, having got all that under your belt, you can then play the top line on the upper manual, which will be in the first exercise this particular tune. Now, the left hand has a very important role to play, and it plays chords, or a collection of 4 notes on the lower manual of the organ, in this fashion here. The first chord being C6. Now, as far as the sequence is concerned, we now want A minor 7, which you do by changing the pedal to A. You then want D minor 7, which you achieve by holding those 2 notes and moving those 2 notes to the left. You now want G7, which means you hold these 2 notes here and move these 2 together to them. G7. You then move the whole hand, toasting fork fashion, back up to C6. Now we play 2 of these chords to each bar, so we play it with the rhythm box. Ready? C6, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. C6, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. We now put the melody line on top of this. Now, will you carry on from there, Gwen, please? Yes, that's very good, Gwen. This is my wife, Gwen, by the way, who, until 6 months ago, knew nothing at all about keyboard instruments. You've been on this book now
About 6 weeks it's taken me to go through the first book.
And how often have you had to practice?
I practice for half an hour every day. You have to practice every day. Usually I spend more time because I do so enjoy doing it.
Yes, I've noticed this, because it's quite often I can't get onto the organ to play myself these days. Now we go on to play a few more exercises in the key of C, using the same chord sequences, but different melodies each time, sometimes adding a chord here and there, which are fully illustrated at the bottom of the page. Once we get to the end of the section on C, then we have self-explanatory instructions as to how to transfer these chords into your own music book so that you can play more or less any music in the key of C that you might have apart from this book. Now, having dealt with C, we now pass on to another key known as the key of F, where the instructions for the right hand or playing the right hand or melody line are still the same, but here again we have to make a change with regard to our chords. First of all, though, I would like Gwen just to play through the tune of the first exercise. Would you do that for me, dear? That's fine. A tune we all know, Blue Moon. Now, here are the chords we require in the left hand on the lower manual to play this particular exercise. F6. By changing the pedal to D, we get D minor 7th. Now we change the two middle notes of the chord and play a G pedal, and we've got G minor 7th. Not quite the right pedal here, right? Now we change the bottom note of the chord to E, and we've got C9. We now return to our original chord of F, as per the sequence instruction there. Now we add a rhythm box to that. F6, D minor 7th, G minor 7th, C9. F6, D minor 7th, G minor 7th, C9. Now if you take over from there, Glenn, will you? F6, D minor 7th, G minor 7th, C9, F6, G minor 7th, G minor 7th, C9, F6, D minor 7th. Fine, thank you very much, dear. Now, you will find further on in the book we have another exercise for the key of F, a different tune, The Gypsy in My Soul. Again, you've got your chord instructions, each page being self-explanatory. Finally, we have Stormy Weather to conclude the F section. Again, as with the C section, we have explicit instructions as to how to change or write in these chords in your own music so that you can play anything virtually in the key of F that you might be able to, or you have already got to hand. Now, the next section deals with the key of G. Once again, the instructions for the playing of the right hand are purely the same, and if you'd just like to play the first tune over, would you go? Mean to me. Now we want some chords in the key of G for this, and here they are. The first one being G6, which Gwen will play for us. By playing an E pedal, we've got E minor 7th. By changing the two middle notes of the chord, we have A minor 7th. And by changing the lower note of the chord with a D pedal, we have D9. And that is as required by the chord sequence. Now put it with the rhythm box, would you dear? G6, E minor 7th, A minor 7th, D9. G6, E minor 7th, A minor 7th, D9. Now you carry on, dear, will you? You get the tune right for me, will you? A minor 7, D9. Thank you very much. Now, we have two more exercises in the key of G. Again, different tunes. All the instructions are on each page as to how to play them. And finally, once again, as with the C, the F and the G sections, we have full instructions on transferring the chords for playing your own music. Now, what we've done so far in this book is we have learnt 5 chords in each of 3 keys. But as you can see from my illustration here, you not only learn 5 chords in one particular key, you learn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at the end of this book, you have actually learned 15 chords, but you can now play 21. So you're doing pretty well, and you can play an awful lot of tunes that not only from this book, but from your own books as well. And in the final section of this book, you'll find instructions on how to use the bass pedal rhythmically. What we call the alternating bass pedals are fully explained, and the only other thing that I would like to give you an example of is how we play a 4-beat bass pedal to the melody of the first exercise in the book. Gwen is now playing the first exercise tune with 1 bass note pedal to each chord. In a moment you'll be playing 2 bass note pedals to each chord and will produce a 4-note bass pedal to each bar, like this. Yes, that was fine. Now, could you do it with the rhythm box for me, please, dear? Fine. So that concludes all the instructions in Book 1. And for the next, we shall be going on to Book 2 in the 5-chord trick series. In Book 2, we now have another 3 keys in which we have the 5-chord trick. We start with the key of B flat, which brings 2 flats into the top line, and that's fully illustrated here, and the instructions still hold good for the reading of the melody line. For the first exercise, we have the tune I've Got Rhythm, like this. Now the chords for this are ahead of me here, and the first one is B flat 6, followed by G minor 7th, by just changing the pedal from B flat to G, C minor 9th, followed by F13. I'll play those over for you again. B flat 6, G minor 7 merely by changing the pedal, C minor 9th by changing 2 fingers, and F13 by changing another 2 fingers. And you'll notice when I'm playing this that I never leave the note at the top of the chord at any one time. Now we add rhythm to this. B flat 6, G minor 7, C minor 9th, F13. As before in Book 1, we now have 2 other exercises in the same key of B flat, using the same chord sequences, introducing another chord here which is fully illustrated at the bottom of the page. And at the end of the B flat section, once again, we have instructions as to how to find the key of B flat in your other books, how to write in the chords so that you can use these same chords to play in your own books. We then go on to the next key, which is a 3 flat key and is called E flat. We now add another flat in for the use in the right hand, and the instructions are here as to which flats to play, and of course, as before, the notation for the right hand will remain exactly the same, and the tune we have here is I've Told Every Little Star, and I'll play it over for you. Once again, we have the chords in front of us. We play E flat 6. By changing the pedal to C, we get C minor 7th. By changing the 2 notes in the middle and the pedal to F, we get F minor 7th. And then we get, by changing 1 note at the bottom of the chord and changing the pedal to B flat, we get B flat 9. Now you'll notice again, whilst I'm doing this, E flat 6, that my thumb never leaves the C at the top of the chord, or the note at the top of the chord. F minor 7th I'm now playing, B flat 9 to finish, and then back to E flat 6. And just for a change, we'll put a cha-cha-cha on this melody for us, and we'll see how it sounds. Now we continue in the key of E flat with 2 more exercises. Nice and unusual tunes which make the whole thing very interesting, bringing in the occasional extra chord here and there which you will see at the bottom of the chord chart there. At the end of that section, once again, how to find the key of E flat, and then how to write in these chord symbols into your own music so that you can play these same chords with your own music as well. And the final key in this book for the 5-chord trick is that of A flat. And we're bringing in an even further flat here, but it is fully illustrated at the beginning of the section, and the first tune for the right hand will be this one, which is Things Ain't What They Used to Be. The chords again are up before us, and there's A flat 6 with an A flat pedal. By merely changing the pedal to F, you get F minor 7. You then require B flat minor 7, and you change the 2 center chords and change center notes, and you change your pedal to B flat. You then move the bottom note down and you play E flat 9. And as I play it, you'll notice that my thumb is always based on that note at the top of the chord and never leaves there. A flat 6, F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 9. Now we'll put a quick step on and we'll play the tune gently through. We also have 2 other tunes for practicing with the chord sequences, the Coffee Song and Love Is the Sweetest Thing. And finishing this section once more is how to find the key of A flat in your own books, how to write in the chords so that you can play these self-same chords with your own tunes afterwards. Now, you may come across chords which we haven't actually talked about in either books, in which case this section here you'll find most helpful, because it tells you how to put the chords together, how to build them up from nothing, and then how to put them in a situation so that they blend in nicely with the chords that you've played previously and after the new chord that you do not yet know. So again, you'll be able to play, once you've got this section, you'll be able to play any tunes you like in all of these 6 keys. The next section deals with the rhythm box, and that is self-explanatory. So I won't dwell on that one in the same way as the next section, which is to deal with the bass pedals, is quite clear in its instructions, and you should have no problem in sorting them out. Finally, we talk about chords in the right hand. Again, very explicit instructions as to how to do it. And at the end of this section, you should be playing tunes like this one, and they should sound like this. We'll do it a little faster. To progress beyond the stage reached by books 1 and 2, book 3 contains ideas on arrangements, improvisations and registrations, all of which are included in this special arrangement of Moonlight Becomes You. we'd like you to take particular notice in that of the flattened fifths and flattened ninths, which make the whole arrangement rather special. Book 3 gives instructions on playing by ear. Playing by ear means that if you can pick out the melody of a tune on the top manual of the organ with the right hand, then you will want to know what chords to play and the right time. I have written the melody out of Stardust here in the key of C, and I have the music here in front of me. Now the first 3 notes will require no backing at all. They are a lead in. Now, the next phrase give you the notes of the chord of F6, so therefore you play F6. Now the continuation of that phrase, as you can hear, will be the same chord. Next phrase brings in the flat there, so you will obviously put the flat into the chord of F6, giving you F minor 6. Now these 2 notes, C and G, bring you back to the original key of C, so you play the C chord there. So now we have in which vein you continue. Have you ever wondered how these sort of sounds are produced on the organ? Well, these are what are known as chromatic 13ths, and professionals use them instead of 7ths, as you can see. And on this page in Book 3, the same diagram is produced there on a smaller scale, which will enable you to sort these out. These chords can be mixed in very nicely with your chords that you have learnt previously in the series, and they make a nice change and give you a rather spicy finish to the tune. I'll just play a short arrangement of Tangerine. Now you'll notice that they have, or they are jazz orientated, and they are actually the chords that one plays with the blues. On the next page we have these chords laid out in finger patterns for you to play from in the keys of F and the key of G. And in order for you to get the feel of the blues, I have written out the top line of St. Louis Blues in the key of F. Now, this gives you a marvellous opportunity to write your own tunes to go with the 12-bar sequence. So I have written a couple of tunes here, one in the key of G, which I've called the post horn riff, and one in F, which is called just another riff, and I'll play them both for you, and it'll give you some ideas to go on to make up your own tunes to go with the blues sequence. So you can see that Book 3 will lead you on to the professional approach, which quite a few of you may want to do in the future. To sum up then, the 5-chord trick Book 1 has instructions on reading, timing and fingering a tune, chord sequences and exercises in keys C, F and G, rhythmic use of the bass pedal. Book 2, more chord sequences and tunes to play in keys B flat, E flat and A flat, chord theory, the rhythm box and right-hand chords. Finally, Book 3, arranging, improvising, playing by ear using 13ths and how to play blues. Now I hope that some of, or if not all of you, will take the course, and the very best of luck with it.
The wonderful world of music offers happiness and pleasure to everyone. Whether you stay on the fringes of this world or go to the heart of it is up to you. In the days when a piano, a percussion instrument, was the standard means of making music, only the dedicated few, prepared to spend many painful years of apprenticeship, could enter it.